Darshnaven, you can join now with your video on. We are live on the YouTube and now we'll be starting the session. Yes. So, good morning, all friends. Welcome back to Saturday Club of Baroda meeting. And today we'll have Dr. Darshna Thakkar talking to us about integrative oncology care. It's always a pleasure to listen to Dr. Darshnaben. She has been our guest speaker a couple of times earlier also with very, very informative and enlightening talks. To formally introduce her, she is MD, DHA, MBA, and a gynecologist and obstetrician, a social entrepreneur based in Ahmedabad. She is offering women healthcare since 1998. She is passionate about imparting health education, offering services about emotional well-being and motivation. Her areas of interest are challenging surgeries, counseling for health and happiness, international teacher and workshop leader for Heal Your Life program. She is author of several books and a popular motivational speaker. She is associated with several social organizations and is a philanthropist. In short, she is a multifaceted personality. Dr. Dashnaben, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We
Thank you.
always look forward to your very enlightening talks.
Thank you, sir.
So, over to you. About 40 minutes for you, and then we'll have 10-15 minutes of discussion. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And before I jump on to the slides or PPT, I would like to talk something about all of us that we have been practicing as doctors in India. And we are surely having question answer session at the end. But I wish to start session with some of the question that I would like to put forward to the audience here. That holistic approach when it comes in, or integrative care when it comes in, which are the words that we think about? Maybe alternative therapy, yoga, something other than allopathy medicine. And the second question is, as hardcore allopathy doctors, how many of us are willing to talk and think about other prescriptions than medical prescriptions? With that simple awareness, the whole subject of integrative care starts. If you recall, in our own homes or our own childhood, all of us could have memory of having some sort of वो घर के नुस्खे, and something from the kitchen comes in as therapy, may it be turmeric water or may it be steam inhalation. And we are from the land of traditional pathies like Ayurveda in India with a strong base, yoga practices. And still, unfortunately, our daily practice as doctor, not all of us may be very comfortable prescribing a bundle of everything. So for a minute or so, if we scan our practices in the office and home and bring in little more awareness about it, that will help tremendously to go through the presentation today. So happy to see Hemant Bhai here. Welcome. And as I will be sharing a presentation, my idea for today, the overview of presentation will be talking about the title that I'll break: Integrative Oncology Care. Care is something that we offer with a team of people. When it comes to integrative, it's not alternative. It's integrating things that is available. And as doctors, we will be talking about a disease today called cancer, which is not only a cellular event, but it's a life event. Someone who gets this diagnosis, it's not easy for them to go through all alone. And at the same time, it is not easy for any of the doctor to satisfy the patient to say that everything is all right the way we want. And when it comes to integrative model, a lot many discipline gets involved into it. With that basic framework that I want to talk about, I'll be sharing the presentation. And my chat box is open as always. Satish Bhai is moderating it brilliantly all the sessions. One can put their questions into chat box. Both of us will keep seeing it, and we'll try to include answers as many as I talk or at the end of session. So integrative oncology care is not about adding therapies, which I mentioned that ટિક માર્ક કરીને 1 2 3 4 5 વસ્તુઓ જોડે આપી જ દેવાની is not integrative. It is about optimizing outcomes in context to biological, psychological, and functional aspect of patient's recovery. When Facebook was very, very new and people were making profile, there was a word called life event. That if you have done something great, you add on the Facebook as a life event. So even cancer is a life event because it not only affects the person, but the whole family and people around. Though it starts as a cellular event, it becomes a life event during treatment and after that. Very recently, we were talking about this in Indian context. And on this World Cancer Day, 4th of February, those who have read the newspaper, it was full of numbers, statistics, and what is happening in our country or in our state of Gujarat. And this number was so alarming that Ahmedabad sees 600% rise in cancer beds. If we take a pause and put our hand on the heart and ask that am I happy with these numbers? And how can personally or collectively we can contribute to avoid such a rise in cancer beds? It's good to have global treatment available in Gujarat. It's good to have highest level of precision with robotic surgery. It's good to have all the treatment and therapy and modalities in Gujarat that is available across globe. But are we really progressing as state or nation when the cancer burden is rising so fast every single day? And that's where we thought of having even a public awareness event, how to prevent cancer and recurrence. Why am I showing this slide? Because it is a comprehensive aspect of integrative oncology care. And the objective is, as one can read in the orange box, that cancer brings a lot of demand, and we need to create social impact, emotional connect, mind body alignment, and rewiring of mind in context to emotional health, addressing the root cause, and nutritional guidance. This bunch is primarily involving multidisciplinary approach and integrative care. Now, what it is and what it is not. So, integrative oncology is not making simple bundle of various thing or replacing anything with anything. So, it is not alternative, not only complementary, but it is evidence informed adjuncts added to patient care for better outcome. સો સૌથી પહેલા એ કહી દેવાનું થાય છે બધા જ દર્દીઓને જેને ઇન્ટિગ્રેટિવ ઓન્કોલોજી કેરમાં અમે એનરોલ કરતા હોઈએ that it's not to avoid allopathy or it's not to bring some traditional therapy. It's been creating a basket for you that gives you the highest output. If I give a simple analogy here, and if there is a financial portfolio manager with us who always keeps telling that don't put all your eggs in one basket. Similarly, cancer patients need to understand this. And in most of the cancer, if we go to the root cause, there is also, beyond genetics, an emotional cause involved. And most of the time, as various people in their biography have written, various people in their philosophy has mentioned and proved socially, suppression of emotion is one reason for having cancer. Now they have invested all their emotions into something which has drained them out. And the biological conflict starts in such situation, as mentioned in German New Medicine path. That biological conflict causes physiological impact and the cell structure gets disturbed. That's how probably it starts as tumor cell. So in today's world, when we have everything, best of the best treatment, the question here is, why do people get recurrence? Because surgeons like Dr. Jayesh Vai would do the best justice to surgery. The pathologist has already reported and signed the report with margins free. They have removed good enough 2 centimeter margin. The oncomedicine people have given good chemotherapy based on all the guidelines available. Radiation is given in many cases when needed. And in spite of the completion of care, why do people have recurrence? And that's where the need for integrative oncology care comes in, which also can help reduce the rate of recurrence. A year ago, when World Cancer Day theme was Close the Care Gap, and that's how we are today having this session. How can we close the gaps that prevail in cancer care in current times? So, our focus is not just to remove tumor, it is now evidence based that the symptom management and survivorship with the quality of life is equally and probably more important than only talking about tumor removal or avoiding its recurrence. Let us mark the difference of these three words as far as care goes: the alternative, complementary, and integrative. Alternative means it replaces the conventional one. Complementary means it is used alongside. And integrative means evidence guided integration of things that you are going to apply. So, integrative oncology is oncology done better. That's how we can say it in punchline. One of the main objective is the quality of life to be enhanced for patients even post cancer, and the physiological impact which has proven with various evidence based articles that fatigue reduction can happen via exercise. Even pathies like acupressure, acupuncture can help in certain symptom reduction. Mindfulness practices, guided especially, or when they learn they can do it at home, yoga helps in a big way in stress reduction. All of us are aware that to induce stress, we have good number of things in the outer world like newspaper, breaking news on television, seeing numbers, scrolling on Instagram and listening to the reels which brings in fear, various internet search engines interpreting information differently because patients or caretakers are not always from the medical background. And when they put simple words on the Google or any search engine, a lot of data comes up and they are not aware how to filter with scientific information. And that's how they live in their mind with so much of information overload that they don't realize their subconscious is processing a lot. For an example, a fear of recurrence. So while stress inducing factors are many, let us introduce to them stress reduction factor. And when the quality of life is improved, a lot many dynamics and metrics changes. So if we look at the global scenario, there are multidisciplinary clinics more in the developed countries, and that comprises of many discipline brought together, wherein oncologist plays the major role, post surgery, psycho-oncologist who can take care of emotional aspect, dietitian and nutritionist guiding them for cancer specific diet, exercise physiologist, and especially the physiotherapists who are inclined and trained toward cancer rehabilitation. Today we have Dr. Deepal from our team who is a physiotherapist with her special interest in cancer rehab. Giving an example, if a oncosurgeon has operated a patient for oral cancer with a flap surgery and a long hours of surgery, and there is a lot of physiology disturbed, anatomy distorted, it becomes too difficult for certain patients to accept them with the changed face, not only externally, but also in their daily life, internal feeling, their inability to open mouth, the salivation issues, xerostomia, and quite a lot of things. All such things are to be taken care with utmost dedication as much as we choose the right selection criteria for surgery. So, in such cases, to avoid fibrosis, to make them happier with their normal physiology regained, physiotherapist plays a great role. If we see globally, there are some amazing centers offering integrative oncology care. At MD Anderson Cancer Center, the world famous MSK Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York, and they have various plans offline, online for their patients as handholding starting from diagnosis to treatment to post treatment and post treatment rehabilitation. Unlike global scenario, when we come to India, still we do have huge unmet need and we need many more centers who can offer integrative oncology. It is a dire need for the reason that the burden of cancer is rising, and we all know that most of the cases that comes to us are in late stage. And when we say lack of awareness, I personally sometimes do not agree, because even if Shakwala is using Google, everybody has access to internet. People are traveling abroad, they are exploring different culture and using different currency. If we can do it all, why can't we be aware of our own health and screening programs to be op- taken into life seriously? I think it's a choice that everyone makes, and there are lifestyle risk factors. For example, smoking, alcohol, tobacco, stressed life, sedentary life, and so on. Unfortunately, the burden is rising, and the fortunate part is nearly half of cancers in India have modifiable life risk factors. So, if we work on lifestyle medicine and six pillars, many of the cancers can also be prevented. And when it comes to burden, these are alarming figures. In India, we are losing 10 lakh people annually. That comes to 2,500 deaths every single day. We are losing 120 plus people every day because of oral cancer. Being a gynecologist, this is so painful to say that every 7 minutes we are losing one Indian woman. All of us have logged in at 8 o'clock, and in last few minutes that we are talking, already there are 3 deaths due to cervical cancer somewhere based on these statistics. The cervical cancer and the breast cancer, they are the number one, number two globally in India. And every 8 to 9 minutes, we are losing one woman due to breast cancer. If you look at men, the burden is highest for lung, mouth, and tongue cancer. And the burden of cancer amongst women is breast and cervix. So as we move and look back for just last 6 years, it's rising, rising, and rising. Why does this happen? And as I said, the good news is it's not about genetics always, but it's about epigenetics, which includes environmental and lifestyle factors. So that's a good news. And that is where the emergence of integrative oncology in India have started, and it has a long way to go. So All India Institute of Ayurveda has done some wonderful initiative. There is something called Goa initiative wherein they are working on integrative oncology research and care, and Ministry of Ayush has come up with some good ideas. Luckily, as a country, we are uniquely positioned because we have both the modern oncology when it comes to equipments for care, robotic surgeries, a center like Tata Memorial Center, and we also have our rich traditional system of yoga and Ayurveda. At this juncture, I wish to bring in three people and their stories. This wonderful smiling human being is named Stamatis Moraitis, who was said by the doctors that, hey, you have 6 months to live when he was diagnosed with lung cancer. This Greek veteran who was in the US participated in World War, and he thought that वैसे भी अगर 6 ही महीना है तो why don't I go back to my own land? He went back. He met people there. People were like, oh, तेरे साथ क्या हो गया? And as the social culture everywhere is different, luckily he was surrounded by people who came forward and started adding joy to his life by various activities, talks involving him, being participating in many ways. He started gardening, he started investing his time into some of the hobbies, and this man could live more than 40 years after he was said, you have 6 months. And those 40 years were happy, healthy living. Not that he was bedridden, not that he was suffering a lot. He was enjoying life. The mainstay of his recovery or therapy was healing by nature. And that's where I recall a wonderful book titled Shinin Yoku. It's a Japanese philosophy wherein they say it's forest bathing and healing with nature. At our center, which we have named Vacha, it's WACHA, and the acronym reads as We Address Cancer with Holistic Approach. Some of our patients also have started doing this with wellness retreats that I keep offering. And how can nature help them heal and regain the physiology? Bringing two more people like this. Shin Terayama, a Japanese man, similar story, had cancer, was said this many months, and he lived more than 36 years. After that, happy, healthy life. And what he said later was, so you are still alive. And when you are alive, give love and unconditional love, that's enough. He later became executive director of the Japanese Holistic Medical Society. And none other than Louis Hay, my favorite. I am certified, internationally certified life coach in Louis Hay's philosophy. Louis got cancer, cervical cancer in 1978. And she lived 37 more years after that cancer, healing by herself. And her mainstay therapy was emotional release and mirror therapy. All these people have worked on their physiology in different forms, healing with nature, going into blue zones, working on emotions. And Louise A came up with the punchline, love is the miracle cure. Now, $1 million question is, what made them live so long? The one common thing is they look within. They found out what is bothering them and what is calling them for healing. And when it comes to healing, it's much beyond heal beyond pills, it's much beyond the cure. And the cancer, as we all know, is nothing but changed structure or the language of cells. So at Vacha, we say that we help you decode the changing language of the cell, and that comes or that changes because of the unspoken feelings. As we know that nearly 30 to 40 trillion human cells with wide-sided average of approximately 37.2 trillion, and this keeps changing with age, sex, weight, and so many things. Now billions and trillions of cells in our body, they are listening to the communication we have in the outer world or the internal dialogue we have. And the cellular pathway neuroplasticity, everything gets affected by our thinking pattern. Lewis has said, if you can change your belief system, you can change your disease pattern. If you can change your thinking pattern, you can work on your disease pattern differently. So with this disease burden, possibility of bringing in integration with evidence basis, let us look at what are the current gaps. Of course, in India or in Gujarat, we do have lack of standardized protocols. There is a need for our cities in Indian population, the training gaps because of the disease burden, even the medical students, colleges, or in the world with so much of overload of information, the info obesity, as we say, there is no specific training involving complete integration. And there is also risk of unregulated complementary practices, which we are all aware in our own pathy and own speciality, that patients come with some internet data or showing us some insta reel, ये सही है कि नहीं है, मैं तो આ સાંભળ્યું એટલે હું આવું કરું છું. Above all, something that we need to remember is the absence of structure creates vulnerability in both context, scientific and ethical. But somewhere we have to start. And if all of us present here today, if we start doing it for at least 5 patients in this year, we will create a data for so many patients. So where is the data is a question asked many a times, but let us understand that we are the one who will be generating data in ethical manner. And when it comes to integration, if we have to compile, it comes as also in alignment with 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine. And those 6 pillars are nutrition, physical activity, stress management, sleep, substance avoidance, and social connection. So let us understand that lifestyle is not only preventive medicine. In such cases, it becomes therapeutic medicine. We believe that બહુ જ આખો દિવસ કામ કર્યું, હવે સૂઈ જઈશું એટલે આરામ મળશે. But we need to accept and understand that when we actually go to sleep, the brain is more active and awake to segregate the data, put them in the respective folder, process what we have gathered during the day. A good sleep has its own impact on cortisol level, on healing, on the physiological realignment, and so much. Each pillar can be talked about for an hour or so in depth. I'm just bringing touch and go to justify the title Integrative Oncology Care. When it comes to exercise, it's not only a movement, it's flexibility, it's strengthening, and it's actually exercise can be considered as chemotherapy for inflammation. Because any disease starts with cellular level inflammation. So even for healing, that inflammation needs to be reduced. Mind body medicine is something which even in New York, the MSK people are working brilliant way. Yoga, and we have a strong Indian context. Meditation, breath work, and CBT plays a big role. And when if somebody is asking, even patient, આનાથી શું ફરક પડે? It is scientifically proven that it helps in reducing cortisol level. It helps regulate autonomic system better, and it has power to bring in immune modulation. At our center Vacha, we have all these pillars with expert for each pillar working together in integration, including homeopathy for immunity modulation. If we look into it, how deeply we can go, it is a huge program when it comes to integration. I am now bringing 2 or 3 simple things which we are not so serious or we are ignoring. EDCs, endocrine disrupting chemicals. In any food item or the drink, when it comes in the newspaper as headline that this contains this chemical and it is dangerous, थोड़े दिन हम उसके बारे में बात कर लेते हैं and then we forget. The company will prove that it's not harmful. Everything gets settled down. We are okay with it and we get busy with our other things in the life. But if we see starting from our toothpaste in the morning to those mosquito repellent in the night when we go bed, in between this two time, what we call the daily life, we do have ample of EDCs that we are exposed to. And it starts with our watches, pens, wallets, perfumes, dhoop agarbatti, car keys, quite a lot many things. Even to what we call sanitizers, they also have something which may be EDCs. So, how to create a framework? The framework for integrative and holistic care comes in with not only treating someone's disease on physical ground, but helping them decode the emotional burden. And we are not only here to help people who are fighting with tumors. Cancer patients are also fighting with fears, anxiety, their dilemma of life and quality of life, the social judgments and social aspects. So the framework also has to include social awareness, adding some spiritual inclination or working on their path and helping them understand the existential meaning and the purpose of life. This is one of my most favorite slide that most of the presentation has this slide common. But I would like to say it here that even for the integrative oncology care and the pillars and all that I have talked is based on this understanding that reason for any illness and cancer is much beyond genetics. Dr. Fahad Bashir in his book Science of Emotion talks about that 95% cancers are having epigenetic aspect. The cellular level memory also plays a role, as Bruce Lipton writes in his book Biology of Belief. Like those three people's story, there is Randy Posh, uska story, who happened to be professor in US, and he has written book The Last Lecture. There are so many things happening around. There is a book titled If Organ Could Speak, Epigenetic Revolutions and Evolutions. Your body keeps the score. Even if something unwanted happens and I have a biological conflict, and if I say that છોડ દો ને યાર રાત ગઈ બાત ગઈ ભૂલી જાવે કઈ વાંધો નહીં આ તો કાલની વાત છે અહીંયાથી ફોરગેટ વાળું બટન દબાઈ દીધું હશે તો પણ the body keeps the score is a book. So body has capacity to absorb, translate and decode quite a lot of emotions. So the environment is not only the air that we breathe, environment is what we are exposed to in the outer world and what we are creating inside us. That environment is also extremely important. Thinking pattern. As we all know that even during COVID, lot many people possibly died of fear and not the virus. Similarly, the cancer and the first surgery before that, we do not have a data published that how many people diagnosed with cancer before surgery has what level of fear about recurrence. And hardly ever oncosurgeons have time or oncophysicians have that time to talk at length and understand the complete psychological or emotional environment that patient carries inside. These are the areas less addressed, and integrative oncology care visits this area of human life and mind, and that can help them redesign, redefine thinking patterns and belief system, which can bring more healing to these patients. So let us look at some of such publications. The turquoise blue is Dr. Fahad Bashir's book, The Science of Emotion. He also talks about gut consciousness and heart consciousness. How to align that for cancer care is equally important. The yellow one is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and this book is sold more than 50 million copies and is translated in more than 16 languages. Ina Siegel is an Austrian author who has written this book, The Secret Language of Your Body. I'm using all these three books, especially Louise and Ina Siegel book, which shows that which illness can have probable emotional pattern, what kind of pattern. And I use this as a Bible to my patients for whatever illness they visit me for gynecology or for cancer care or for emotional aspect. And if I see in last 5 years, more than 96% of patient could say it's ditto, or most of them have connected to what the probable emotional pattern return is more than 80% that they can resonate. And when we start working on those emotions, their illnesses, their symptoms have been taken care with list medicine and at times with no medicine. I'm conscious talking as an allopathy doctor with 30 plus years of practice But this is something which I am witnessing, and I have documented these cases so that I can talk like this. We need to understand that the emotional history is very, very important when we deal with our patients' case studies. It is just two things that when it comes to emotions, either we express or we suppress. Most of the time people don't express, thinking that it might affect organizational environment, family environment, it might cause conflict, it may affect relationship, it's better to keep mum, આના કરતા ચૂપ રહેવું સારું. And they keep piling up, and then they don't realize that the piled up emotions keep damaging the body inside. અને હું સાદી ગુજરાતીમાં એવું કહેતી હોઉં છું કે ઉદય કોઈ એક ખૂણેથી ચાલુ થાય તો આપણે આખા ઘરમાં ફેલાય એની રાહ નથી જોતા હોતા. ઉદય દેખાય ત્યારે જ એની સારવાર કરાવી લેતા હોય છે. So similarly, when there are red flags of understanding that there is inability to express, or it feels difficult for me to express, start working at that time. Long time suppression can affect body and mind badly, and chronic suppressors are at risk of developing mental and physical alteration like anger suppression, internal criticism, self sabotage, severe hatred, all has potential to lead to cancer. So, even for healthy population, including us doctors and our patients, we need to check the stock periodically. We'll be soon having new financial year, and I keep saying that why are we not creating our happiness balance sheet as cautiously as we create our financial balance sheet? And we need to check the entry of hurt, hatred, anger, guilt, jealousy, fear, insecurity, and past memories. These are the entries which remain in suspense entries, and they keep affecting our happiness balance sheet. And how to nullify this entry is also a very huge domain of emotional health management. Not only integrative oncology care, I would like to share something that we work through various awareness programs, that how can we prevent cancer. One such program was held on 4th of February by Ahmedabad Management Association, and the whole program is available on YouTube for someone to look at. And I would say it's only own self that can prevent cancer. How? Is making healthy choices in daily living, maintaining emotional hygiene as cautiously as physical and physiological hygiene, maintaining physical fitness, lifestyle medicine, and as far as possible, vaccines against cancer, which of course contributes only 3%, and genetic screening in select cases. So, in nutshell, the emotions and health go hand in hand, and this is one major part. Working with emotional intelligence. This reminds me of a book by Daniel Goleman who talks about emotional intelligence, negligence, and resilience. That how can we balance and regulate our system that can maintain good immunity and that can make us happy. Many of us see people around and sometimes for our own self. આપણા બધા પાસે એવો એક ડાયલોગ હોય છે, મેં કીધું ને મારા પ્રમાણે, as I think. And the world doesn't run like that. And the world or people or relationship doesn't run the way you want, you get upset. And that's a start point of some illness. So these are very minute points. And what we need is not huge medical insurance to overcome lakhs of rupees of treatment. But to be healthy, what we need is emotional insurance. And such emotional insurance help us remain healthy, avoiding diseases and bringing in warmth to life. These are some of the pictures from my Heal Your Life workshop. And this gentleman who is sitting in the floor is in the role play. He is a son and talking to parents. Father died of cancer, and how it has affected his life, how it has affected his emotions. And when his father died, a lot more which is piled up in his mind and heart is been released in such wellness retreats. His life has changed dramatically in last 3 years. Such kind of things inspire us, motivate us as Vacha team to go forward, talk to more people on more and more platforms like this. As far as cancer goes, let us also talk about emotional cancer that generates out of conflict setting families and difficult social environment. The Stanford has a study that if there is a set of five families with conflict setting, the conflict may be between anybody, spouse, parent, child, whosoever. Out of those five conflict setting family, one child of that family will have serious mental illness in the adulthood. And this is alarming. Sometimes that runs in family, though it's not genetic. And we keep saying, આનો સ્વભાવ તો એના પપ્પા જેવો છે. આ તો એના મમ્મી જેવી છે. She's like her Masi. But let's be aware and break the cycle of this generational trauma that comes out of hatred environment. As we are moving towards end of the session and a couple of minutes that I have, let me bring in some more evidences. There is Dr. Rick Gerd Hammer, a German physician, who has brought this concept of biological conflict. And when that conflict is not resolved or it remains as a hanging conflict, cancer is a possibility. He has a lot of things on YouTube if somebody wants to look at. The Healing Power of Love is Dr. Hammer's song, worth visiting. And the site, if somebody wants to visit, it's learninggnm.com. I'm impressed the way it is explained because as a gynecologist, I've been connecting this to my patients of ovarian uterine cancer and it works very well. The C for cancer is a word nobody wants to hear in the life for self or loved ones. But there is always H for healing. And these are the list of some wonderful videos on YouTube that I am using it for my patients, clients to listen to. And any of the patient, forget about only cancer, just make them understand that the healing or integrative care is also about how you feel inside. And how you feel depends on what you feed in your mind. So let us nurture them with freedom and plant wholesome seeds in our own mind, saying that I'm good enough, I'm loved, I'm worthy, rather than always feeling into deficit of something or always finding someone to complement you with some other strength or always seeking love outside. Self-love and self-acceptance are the keys, and one need to understand how can I label my emotions. That's also very important. So emotional literacy is also another part of it. With this, I would like to stop sharing the slides and sum it up in a minute that all that we talk about in integrative cancer care or oncology, it's a multidisciplinary approach. And in a last minute that I am allowed to talk, there is also a branch, something called anthroposophy medicine, which was started by Rudolf Steiner and Ita Wegman in European countries in 1902. And even today, a center near Switzerland that they run, when they take the morning round, the doctor, the nurses, the caretaker, floor staff, everyone involved in the patient care, they spend good enough time with patient. They come, sit back in the conference room, talk about each patient as cumulative observation, and then they plan their day, their week, and their further treatment, including 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine. And they are giving amazing results. We are Gujaratis. We have our business acumen. We are gifted with our intelligence quotient. We have our EQ and emotional quotient. Let us all come together and do something wherein we can offer more and more integrative aspect of healthcare. It is not limited to cancer, as I keep saying again and again, because this can be applied to any of the patient and any of the illness. Today we are talking of IOC and I'm talking of cancer. But there is a lot happening much beyond our medical books. We can offer much more things than simply pills. And I bow down to the energy within each one of us here. And a special thanks to Satish Bhai for giving this opportunity and the platform. and people like Jagdish Bhai, who keeps inspiring and motivating, being there on the screen dot at 8 o'clock. So I feel blessed here to share what we do as team at Vacha, what I learn as life coach, how I practice, how some of my friends have adapted practicing this. And on this topic, let this session be over. But if anybody has a question, I've been putting my personal WhatsApp number. They can send the question or they can write me an email, and I'll be very happy taking it further. In the given time, I have done touch and go. This can be a whole day conference wherein we can talk a lot about it. Thank you so much, Satish Bhai. Handing over to you. My 43 minutes is over.
Yeah, wonderful. I mean, you are always on time, limiting your talk to only 40 minutes or 43 minutes. Always, no, I've observed that you are very meticulous about it. So it
Thank
was a wonderful talk and very thought-provoking talk, I would say this. All of us, we need to go beyond, just what we call as science, but this is also science actually.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So now the house is open for comment discussion. First of all, I would invite Dr. Jayesh Bhai and then Dr. Rajiv Bhai because they are onco people and we'll be happy to have their inputs. Dr. Jayesh Bhai is from Ahmedabad. Rajiv Bhatt is from Baroda, SCG Cancer Institute.
Welcome, Rajiv Bhai. Myself and Jayesh Bhai, we are co-founder of a center called Vacha, which has been a unique center that we have started 3 years ago, and we have been putting all this IOC into real good action. And now we have good number of patients who can come and talk, but still we feel that a lot more is to be done before we talk it out loud. Jayesh Bhai, please come your comment, suggestion, and Rajiv Bhai, please come forward.
Think Jayesh Bhai is not muted. He is muted.
Yeah.
So Rajiv, you can come in and
Yes,
comment.
Rajiv Bhai, please.
Yeah, thank you, Darshan Ben, for those comments. And I think it was a very nice way of putting the whole concept of integrative oncology. Just a few comments. I think, you very correctly highlighted the gaps. The gaps, to my mind, exist not in integrative oncology, but more in alternative medicine. There is no way that we are going to be able to have scientific evidence for, say, Ayurveda and homeopathy care within the scientific context of allopathic care that we know. That's very difficult to generate that kind of data, although there are some very rudimentary studies, but no randomized trials. On the other hand, the six pillars of lifestyle medicine that you have so well outlined, within each of them, there is a substantial body of scientific evidence that is available to us. And this is within the framework of scientific validity. For example, the impact of yoga and mindfulness, the impact of certain nutrition. There is, in fact, now a separate specialty of oncopsychology where they go precisely into what you're doing. So each of these six pillars has their own sort of specialty, specialization, and they have contributed significantly to scientific literature. So there is a good amount of evidence that backs exactly what you're saying. And I think that clearly most oncology centers, now I'm saying specifically centers, okay, are the places where this kind of integrative oncology needs to tie in with regular patient care.
True.
Prevention is one aspect. I think what you are doing at Vacha is highly commendable. And people should seek out your services for preventive care. But more importantly, for those who are undergoing cancer care, I think the alignment has to happen with cancer centers because this is something that goes pari passu. See, for example, at our center over the years, I have made a lot of effort to establish the dietitian, the physiotherapist, and the psycho-oncologist as regular people who contribute to the ongoing care. But it's extremely difficult. And as you rightly mentioned, the oncologist has very little time to get into all of these aspects. So it's very important that we have this kind of integration, but that it be based alongside a comprehensive cancer center where most of the patients are going to try to seek care. Having said that, I would look forward to the opportunity of aligning with the Vacha to be able to provide this kind of care at cancer centers. Thank you, Shaman. Thank you, Satish, for
So nice of you, Rajiv.
this
And
session.
to add 2 lines to this, every Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., we have a meeting, which is open meeting. We call it as Let's Talk, wherein the cancer patient, caretakers, volunteers, doctors, and people from the society, they can come. It's open for all. Now, even when it comes to integrative care, we forget that the care is not only for the patient, it's for the family, because they also go through a lot. And some of the sessions, say for example, Jayesh Bhai patient who is coming from Jamnagar, who gets operated and goes back, he cannot come every Friday. So we are planning that this World Health Day in April, we are coming out in a bigger way, that we'll be making these meetings hybrid model, that people who are in Ahmedabad can join and people who are outside can join us via Zoom. Point number one. Point number two, when it comes to psycho-oncologists and others, unfortunately, many of the psycho-oncologists that I have come across, they are either having a very limited exposure in terms of medical knowledge, because they are only into psychology, and their years of experience, until unless it gets expanded, they work very, very superficially. So the deeper root cause remains unaddressed. These are my observations. And to add on to that, as you rightly said, that the integration with dietitian and all is important and easier, but how to bring in evidence base for alternative therapies like homeopathy or Ayurveda? We have homeopath consultant who comes to my place twice in a week for 2 hours, so total 4 hours a week, and he comes only to see my patients, to whom I have put aside that આમાં આપણે બંને જોડે કામ કરવું છે. And those patients are infertility, menopause, mental illnesses, psychological issues, or cancer, anything. And we have seen brilliant results, even in cancer patients. So sometimes, as I said, that simply asking for evidence rather than let's work to bring data and create evidence, that is also important. And when I started studying all this part, we also have a brainstorming session. If any of you are aware that Dr. Rajan Sankaran in Mumbai, a very renowned homeopath consultant, મેં એના બધા પુસ્તકો વાંચ્યા, આ ડાક્ટર સાથે વાત કરી, હું સમજુ છું, હું હાજર રહું છું પેશન્ટની જ્યારે હોમિયોપેથીની પણ હિસ્ટ્રી લેવાતી હોય ત્યારે. Homeopathy and heal your life goes hand in hand. So my homeopath consultant has done retreat on HYL with me, and I have been working with him. So this is how we can keep integration in true sense integrated, when we open our minds, bring in people and start working with them and respecting their pathy, rather than just creating a wall ke bhai tar pas evidence nathi to hum shu karu. There are homeopath consultant in our own country who are working only for cancer patients and not doing any other practice. Now we do not know this because we are not taught this in medical school. So like Dr. Dhiren Ganjwala in our city, who is a pediatric orthopedic surgeon, he runs a Ortho TV channel, he's part of it. And they have a series called The Medical Doctors, to whom what is not taught in medical school, એવા બધા subject ઉપર series કરતા હોય છે. And I was talking on ethical marketing for doctors just a month ago to their TV channel. તો આવા બધા કંઈક જો સાથે મળીને કામ થાય કે રાજીવભાઈ આટલું સરસ કામ બરોડામાં કરે છે, we don't mind. તમે કહેશો તો રાજીવભાઈ, હું જયેશભાઈ, અમારી team will come to Baroda and we can have a half day conference. We can have a one-on-one consultation. And then we can take it further. So such platforms, such opportunities to interaction, also I see it as a divine orchestration કે કશુંક આગળ સારું થવાનું છે, એટલે જ કદાચ આપણે આટલા લોકો આજે અહીંયા મળ્યા હઈશું. So thank you for your comment, Rajiv. Thank you, Satish.
Thank you.
It's a very positive, way to look at the things, because we as doctors always, ask for evidence, evidence, evidence. And you are talking about, let us actually first work on it. But I think we need our supervision to all these therapies, because
Absolutely.
we are little bit, detached from them because of their tall claims that they make, media and all that.
Correct.
That actually dissuades us from coordinating. But your idea is good, that you are always there, and it's an integration and not total compartmentalized kind of care. So that's
રિપ્લેસ
great.
કશાથી કશું કરવાનું જ નથી. ઇટ
હા.
ઇઝ ઇન્ટિગ્રેશન. અને હું કે જયેશભાઈ બેમાંથી એક જણ કોન્સ્ટન્ટ નોડલ પોઈન્ટ તરીકે તો પેશન્ટ સાથે હોઈએ જ.
Jayesh bhai, your comments, please.
Yes, so we are at present in the field of the precision and customized medicine. So after complete the treatment, surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, everything is over, we don't replace any standard treatment, We are, as per evidence, whatever standard treatment is completed, then we offer the patient, we customize the patient, we judge the patient, and every patient needs are different. So we focus on physical well-being and emotional well-being. Two aspects we address to the patient, and we guide them to consult to go to in this direction. And that will help to reduce the improve the quality of life and probably reduce the recurrence and the well-being.
Right.
રાજીવભાઈ, હું
So
એક એવો મેટાફર આપતી હોઉં છું પેશન્ટ્સને કે તમે જે રીતે કસ્ટમાઇઝેશન કપડાનું કરી શકો છો કે તમે વેસ્ટ સાઈડની કુર્તી પહેરીને એરપોર્ટ જાઓ તો બે જણા તો એવું શર્ટ કે કુર્તી પહેરીને મળી જ જાય, હે ને? પણ જો તમે તમારા માપનું કાપડ લઈને દરજી પાસે સીવડાવેલું હોય તો એ ડિઝાઇન કે પ્રિન્ટ પણ અલગ હોય ને તમારું ફિટિંગ પણ અલગ હોય. આટલા એક સિમ્પલ કસ્ટમાઇઝેશનની આપણે જ્યારે વાત કરતા હોઈએ તો કેન્સર કેર ટુડે, એઝ બોથ ઓફ યુ સ્પેશિયાલિસ્ટ ઇન ઓન્કોલોજી ફિલ્ડ, વુડ અગ્રી ટુ માય પોઈન્ટ કે એ એટલું બધું કસ્ટમાઇઝ અને પર્સનલાઇઝ થઈ રહ્યું છે વિથ ધ ટાર્ગેટેડ થેરાપી, ઇમ્યુનોથેરાપી કમિંગ ઇન, કે જે પહેલા ખાલી એનસીસીએન ગાઈડલાઇનથી ચાલતું હતું એમાં કેટલા બધા ફરક આવ્યા છે. સો નાવ ઇટ ઇઝ અ પેશન્ટ સેન્ટ્રિક ટ્રીટમેન્ટ, and out of 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, not every patient need to work on 6 pillar. The weakest pillar we need to find it out and focus on that more so that the other pillars remain strong. So it's a very, very customized care for every single cancer patient.
No, point well taken, Darshanaven, and I think I completely agree with everything that has been said. Satish, scientific evidence for individual pillars already exists. It's not that it is not there.
Yes.
It's just sort of bringing it together and giving it to the patient as an offering, along with standardized care, which already is what integrative oncology is doing. So I agree completely with everything, and I'm happy to collaborate on this in the future.
Thank you.
We have other participants who would like to comment. Jagdish Bhai, Hemant, Jagdish Chinappa, please come in.
Darshana, World Cancer Day theme was United
United by Unique this year.
by Unique.
Yes.
And we all know that, yes. And Bhagavad Gita says, you are the friend and you are the enemy.
Absolutely.
So in our team, which I was with Rajiv, we had psycho-oncology trained in oncology.
Wonderful.
And if the captain of the ship is an oncologist, any of them, 4 of them, then the ship is going to reach the shores.
Correct.
Another thing, science. What Rajiv said, today, science knows everything. We have evidence how the cancer stem cells, how the apoptotic cells live and ask the cancer stem cells to grow. And why do the cancer stem cells grow? We all know. The
Correct.
modern therapy of targeted and RNA and all that has increased the results. But the basic thing is multidisciplinary team at the beginning of the cancer. Whatever stage, which therapy to do, how. Even surgery, a simplest thing like frozen section before surgery is complete is to be meticulously followed and the targeted therapy for each patient done, and then the holistic take care before and after cancer care should continue.
Perfect.
Correct? So that feel and the feeling and the feeding message which you have given today is very important.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Hemant. Thank you. And we are fortunate to have 2 Jagdish is here, so your comments one by one.
Modulation of body's own immunity is one of the important factors. And I think your integrated medicine is something which very definitely would help modulation of body's own immunity. And now there are some chemicals like Keytruda, which are used for modulation of that kind of immunity and exposure of cancer cells to body's own phagocytosis.
કરેક્ટ. બટ છે ને આપણા દેશમાં ને આપણા સમાજમાં એક નાનકડી તકલીફ પાછી એવી છે ને કે કોઈ સાધુ સંત એવું કહી દે કે તમે 24 કલાકનો ઉપવાસ કરી નાખો ને આમ કરી નાખો તો કેન્સર મટી જાય, પણ ડોક્ટરે ઓટોફેજી સમજાવવા માટે બહુ મહેનત કરવી પડે. So we have to go through different kind of rules and roles and path to make people understand what are we talking about.
Dr. Jagdish
It's wonderful that instead
Yeah,
of
sorry.
alternative, it is integrated.
Correct.
Dr. Jagdish Chinnappa is a pediatrician associated with Manipal Hospital, Bangalore. He is
Well,
also
welcome,
one of
sir.
the very regular participants of a meeting. And
How
Jagdish,
nice.
sorry, you might have missed some of the Gujarati sayings by Dr.
No,
Darshna,
no,
but I
no,
think
no,
she made up
no.
with English.
No, I enjoy those brief interludes of Gujarati. They are
Oh,
they are
thank you so much, sir.
their challenge to my Gujarati. So at least to know whether I understand what she's saying, and it was quite
Taking as
very
brain
nice.
stimulants in the morning.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Darshana. I'll just share a small story. I about
Please.
15 years back, I had a very close friend who was suffering from cervical cancer, and she passed away. And
Okay.
her daughter, at that time, we went through this usual, looking at psychoneuroimmunology and looking at nutrition and looking at exercise. And her daughter decided to go and learn all the things that you spoke about today, and she has started a program for cancer patients which is now across India. It's called Carer Program.
Arey
she
wah.
she's based out of Delhi, and she runs this program in many places. The only problem is the cost, because every session is expensive, and then how to look at it. And I would plead to this to your good self and all others like you who are working in this field, to see how this can be covered by insurance, because I think the major problem with most cancer patients are twofold. One is the non initiation of palliative care early, and second is the lack of finances for all the other things that need to be done. So
Correct.
maybe these are two challenges that your dynamic self can take forward.
But in that case, all of us as fraternity has to first accept it. Because of very few people like us, when we say that this is essential, most of the doctors would say, "આવું બધું કશું ના હોય. આનાથી શું થઈ જાય?" So till that
No, no.
point, it doesn't work. Why
Yeah,
would insurance
true.
company come forward? So
True.
first of all, as fraternity, we have to shout out loud that this is essential, and we request you to cover it up. So I guess awareness in this context is required both ways, socially and amongst fraternity. But a brilliant point that you have brought up, I had a thought in the morning while I was just setting up the slides, that why can't we have a kind of a chapter or a state chapter who talks about this, and more like-minded people come together who believes in integrative care. But I'll connect to you, sir. Thank you so much for
Thank
bringing
you.
this, and I would love to connect to that daughter also.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you
I,
so
I
much.
have a comment and question for both Dr. Darshna and Jagdish.
Please, Satish bhai.
Since we know that there is a dearth of clinical psychologists, mental health care professionals are very few in number,
Correct.
not able to cater to all the population. Since we had a talk about AI, a couple of weeks back, is there any work going on creating a chatbot who can, counsel the cancer patients and all the emotional care and
Yeah.
other
See, that
things
can
that
be
you are talking?
created, Satish bhai, but the whole purpose gets diluted because the focus is on to creating customized care, and that will be a predefined care, which might take an exit at a wrong point wherein she or he may be needing a customized care. So for the generalized purpose, yes, a chatbot can be created, but for the real good impact, one-on-one has no substitute. That can be done offline and online. I've been seeing patients globally, so
No, no.
fine talking online, but chatbot will be like booking your gas cylinder. Sorry,
No,
it's a
it
very
goes.
crude
It,
metaphor.
it actually goes beyond that because of the AI,
But
progressing. Anyway, Jagdish can comment on this.
yeah,
So let everyone comment on this. How is the viewpoint? It's a very interesting question,
yeah.
Satish.
So I think the 2 points are there. One is the capacity building for psychoneuroimmunology in cancer. I think the what I would suggest to Dr. Darshana is to write to NIMHANS and
Sure.
ask them to create a program for this particular thing, because they've got a very good psychology department at NIMHANS.
Brilliant.
and
Brilliant.
the current budget has looked at.
Nimans 2 is coming up
Yeah,
as
Nimans 2 more are coming up.
our finance minister has announced Nimans 2
Yes,
this year with the
yes,
budget. Yep.
yes. So maybe it's a good time to start focusing and writing in to see whether some
Correct.
program.
Raju bhai has raised hand to
Yeah.
share something. Yes, Raju bhai.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Raju.
So, about the chatbot, I think, what I have seen over the years treating cancer patients, and which is extremely true for integrative oncology, is the human touch. I don't know in how many times during the sessions Darshana Ben would be actually touching the hand, either the hands of the patients or a comforting hand on the shoulder. This a chatbot can never ever do, and that often gives
Satish
much
bhai, am I
more
audible?
than
Kayık आवाज जाती है.
any scientific evidence ever will.
Anyway, it's a matter of debate because, as I said, no, because there is a dearth of mental health professionals. Can this be of some help? Like people are working on it. I know about that. So
Yeah.
anyway, this is
Yeah,
just
I
a
think in
thought.
that context, possibly, Satish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think somebody is sharing the screen. Jagdish Chinnapas.
I've just put the name of the lady with her latest post on Facebook.
Okay.
Samara Mahindra.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank
You can share in the group something more about it.
Yes,
Dr.
yes.
Jagdish.
Yes, I'll do that.
And I'll,
So-
with kind permission of Satish bhai, I'll also share a link of Vacha Instagram page, and you can see a lot of
Please.
meetings in action, how it
Yes.
happens.
Please do that. Please
Yeah.
do that.
Sure, sir.
We don't mind that.
Thank you so much.
Satish
It was
bhai.
wonderful Saturday
Yes.
morning. Thank you everyone for
Satish bhai.
participating.
I will-
Hemant, yes. Last comment, Hemant, yes.
Integrated cancer care which answers to all the questions raised today, including Jagdish Chinnappa's insurance, is that all the ships should be led by an oncologist at one center so insurance can pay for it. And most important, I believe in AI. I believe the right questions asked to the chatbot like ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Claude or Gemini, right questions, which is dictated by a medical person, can help the person where to go. And psychiatrists and psycho-oncologists and religious and other family health can integrate the total modern science of oncology into holistic healing and give better outcomes. That is my personal belief. You
Agreed.
just
Hemant
ask
will-
anything on chat box, and instead of reading books, which is where information comes decades after or years after, chatbox will give you the latest, and the doctor will guide you which is the correct information and which is the incorrect information. So I believe in
there are-
Rajiv's philosophy that one center should have all the integrated care under the care of an oncologist.
Agreed.
Yes, I think we will have some more session on use of AI in medicine with more evidence-based kind of discussion. So
True.
thank you all
That
very
what
much.
gives evidence, Satish bhai.
Yeah.
Every reference you want,
No,
chatbot
Hemant,
will
we are
write
talking
right
about
question.
individualized care, and you are talking about information, no sharing
No.
information. So we are talking about two different things. Anyway, we need to stop the discussion here. It's already today is we have actually overshot by 10 minutes, so I'm sorry for that. And we'll carry on with discussion later on. We'll have some session where people who are into it, making such chatbots and making individualized models on AI. I think we'll bring in some more expertise and we'll have good discussion. So thank you for stimulating discussion. Thank you, Dr. Dasamin. It's always a pleasure to listen to you and interact with you. So
Thank
thank
you.
you all for joining. Thank you, Jayasbhai. Thank you, Jagdish, for joining. Thank you. Thank you all. We
Thank
meet,
you, Darshana.
I'm not sure whether we are meeting next Saturday or not, depending on the availability of speakers. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll announce
Thank
again.
you all.
Thank you.